Centaur, your kind of company. Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight on Ctv3 News, Nimrod Tillit charged for the Independence Day murder of Bernard Timmons. Police on the manhunt for Myron Palencia, the man who stabbed his ex-common-law wife more than 10 times and left her for dead in the village of San Narciso, Corozal. Corozaleño shot while feeding his dog. And students from Orange Walk set to showcase patriotic presentations during first ever Mayor's Drum Strong competition. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Monday, September 26th, 2022.
Speed. Everyone wants more. Internet is more than speed. That's why Centaur's Internet Express offers you wall-to-wall coverage with its Wi-Fi extender. Just plug and surf. Stay connected as you move around your home with Centaur's Wi-Fi extender. Can your internet do that?
Centaur, your kind of company.
Ever since I was a kid, I've dreamt of going to Mars. You can keep my dream alive.
Come with me. You cannot, under any circumstances, leave my room, okay? Only for 35 days.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
I met Alex on the plane. When I woke up in the morning, he was so alive.
I think they know you're lying.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Get her off that stage.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight we're really late.
Connect, browse, and win with Centaur's September sweepstake. Every customer that updates their account to the month of September enters the sweepstake to win $3,000 cash. That's $3,000 for each branch. Make your summer more epic by becoming a lucky winner of Centaur's $3,000 September sweepstake. Prizes to be drawn on October 7th on the Despierta Belize Morning Show. Centaur's September sweepstake. Get in it to win it.
Good evening with your news. Also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. On Friday night, Orange Walk police officially arrested and charged 33-year-old Nimrod Tilit Katsim for the Independence Day murder of 43-year-old Belize City resident Bernard Timmons. Timmons, as we reported previously, was killed on Independence Day as he socialized on the Belize Corozal Road. He was chopped to the neck and his attack was captured on surveillance cameras in the area. Reports are that the incident was as a consequence of an earlier altercation between Timmons and two other individuals. Bernard is said to have been standing in this area here when he was approached by one of the individuals who was armed with a machete, who then proceeded to chop him across the neck.
Details of that will come out in court. He has since been charged, and I don't do trial in front of the media. We have to leave whatever evidence the police believe inspired them to charge for murder. I have to leave that to be aired by a jury or a judge.
We know that Tillit had been charged previously for two different murders. If he was, I don't know if he was convicted for the last one or if he was on bail, is there anything about that you can, or why he was out, seeing as though he had been wanted for two separate murders?
Like I said earlier, as long as our officers bring you in front of the court, that's where my discussion stops, and that has to be taken up with the judiciary for them to tell you why he was out. We at the police department, we only arrest you and take you in front of the court, and then the court takes over from there.
As previously mentioned, this is not the first time that Nimrod Tilit Katsim has a run-in with the law. In 2020, he was charged for the vicious murder of Abner Novello. Novello was working as a caretaker at a farm on the Yo Creek Road when he was brutally attacked. His body was found hours later with chop and gunshot wounds. His knees were slashed and his right arm had been severed. While he was charged for this murder, the charges, we understand, were dismissed due to a lack of evidence. Nimrod was also previously charged for the 2009 murder of 44-year-old Enrique Castillo, who was affectionately known here in Orange Walk as Grandma. At the time of that incident, Katsim handed himself over to police and confessed to the stabbing murder. 3 years later, however, he was acquitted of that murder after his confession was thrown out in court. Katsim appeared in the Orange Walk Magistrates Court this morning, where he was arraigned for one count of murder. No plea was taken due to the severity of the offense. He was remanded to the Belize Central Prison until his next court date. While police have been able to make an arrest in regard to the murder of Timmons, they are yet to detain someone for the second murder that occurred here in Orange Walk on Independence Day. As we told you previously, the body of 50-year-old fish vendor Sergio Giovanni Valdez was found at around 6 on the morning of September 22nd on the Champagne Ridge Road. He had been stabbed twice to the chest, twice to the back, and chopped to the head. The elderly man was not known as a troublemaker, and according to his family, they are unaware if he was in any kind of trouble which would lead to his tragic end. So who would want Valdez dead, and why? That is what police is trying to ascertain.
Where his death has been ruled due to a spinal injury due to chop wounds. We are still canvassing that area. No witness has come forward to give us any information that could lead to the detention of any party responsible for this. But as soon as we get an update, I will send it out, no matter what hour it is. Okay?
And I don't suspect that area has any surveillance footage or anything like that. This is along the Canpine Ridge Road.
Not to my knowledge. I don't even know if they have proper lighting on that road. So we have to, it's a challenge for the investigators, but we are certain that someone will eventually come out after they hear our pleas and so forth for their assistance. No?
An autopsy has concluded that Valdez died as a result of transection of the cervical spinal cord due to chop wounds to the neck. 35-year-old Kenya Villamil, the woman from the village of San Narciso in Corozal, who was nearly stabbed to death by her estranged common-law husband, remains admitted at the Northern Regional Hospital recuperating from 14 stab wounds. Villamil was attacked by 35-year-old Belizean truck driver of Buena Vista Village in the Toledo district, Myron Palencia, whom she had lived with for 4 years before ending the relationship due to abuse. On the night of September 21st, Villamil was lured out of her home by Palencia, who via a phone call asked her to meet him behind the San Narciso Polyclinic since he needs to speak to her. When Villamil arrived at the meeting point, Palencia attacked her and left her for dead. After committing the atrocious act, Palencia made good his escape, and up until tonight, police are still looking for him.
Information gathered was from someone that was at Miss Villamil's house at the time that could have relayed the information to the police, because at first she was not in a condition to make a report herself. We are treating this incident with priority because we know that it may have stemmed because of the ending, Ms. Mill ending the relationship with that young man, Myron. So as soon as charges have been made, I will let you know.
Reports suggest that Palencia was in the company of another individual when he committed the act. A man from Corozal Town is recovering from gunshot injuries sustained on Sunday night. At about 9:10 p.m., police responded to a report in the house layout area, Corozal Town. Upon arrival, they spoke to Noel Lee Castillo, who was seen with apparent gunshot injuries to his body. Castillo was transported to the Corozal Community Hospital for medical treatment. Initial investigation reveals that at about 9 p.m., Castillo came out of his house to feed his dog, and while filling a bucket of water, a man fired several shots in his direction, which resulted in his injury. Police are investigating the incident. Police here in Orange Walk are tonight looking for a male individual in connection with a robbery which occurred over the weekend at a butane service station in the community of San Jose here in the Orange Walk district. The incident happened shortly before 5 p.m. on Saturday, September 24th, while 3 brothers, 23-year-old Chris, 21-year-old Jonathan, and 18-year-old Abison Huchim or at their place of business located in the community of San Jose. The 3 men were approached by a resident of the community known to them only as Max, who was armed with a machete and demanded that the men hand over $100. When the men refused to give the cash, the assailant reportedly attacked the brothers, causing them minor injuries to the arms before fleeing the area. All 3 men were taken to the Northern Regional Hospital for treatment and released. While police have made checks in the area, they have been unable to detain the assailant, who tonight remains at large. The male perpetrator is described as being of Hispanic descent, slim built, about 5 feet 4 inches in height. At the time of the robbery, he was dressed in dark clothing. Anyone with information that can lead to the detention of this criminal is asked to call the nearest police station. Prime Minister John Bresseni remains out of the country tonight, and today he met with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Washington, D.C. Upon addressing the media, Blinken expanded on the strong relationship that both countries share and also spoke on issues of mutual concern.
Belize is a strong partner for the United States on so many issues of mutual concern. We are following up together on the very important meeting that President Biden and Vice President Harris had with CARICOM and the leaders of CARICOM at the Summit of the Americas, working on a strong agenda together on climate, on energy, on food security, on finance, and I look forward to sharing some of the progress that we've made with the Prime Minister. As well, I should say, congratulations on your recent Independence Day, September 21st. But also we appreciate so much Belize's strong voice on global issues, including, for example, on the Russian aggression against Ukraine, as well as its strong ties to Taiwan. So, Prime Minister, welcome. Very good to have you here.
In his response, PM Briceño spoke about the war in Ukraine and strongly condemned the actions of Russia.
The United States and Belize have had very close, strong, and warm relations over the past 41 years. Yes. We just celebrated our 41st anniversary or independence last week, Wednesday. And you are right that there are so many issues that both countries we need to address. The issue of climate change, was it's almost like an existential threat for small countries like Belize that have a low lying coastline, but it's also affecting big countries like yourself, developed countries where in areas you have droughts, in other areas you have excessive rains, and it is something that has to be addressed by all of us, not by individuals. And Belize continues to have a stellar record when it comes to the protection of its environment. We have just signed an agreement with the Nature Conservancy, and that we are going to protect 30% of our ocean space by 2026, 4 years ahead of schedule. And certainly the other issues of migration, the war in Ukraine, where we strongly condemn the actions of Russia, issues of migration, and also strengthening democracy in our region. So thank you, Secretary, for inviting myself and my team to your office.
Prime Minister John Briceño today also led a delegation to OAS headquarters in Washington, D.C., where a meeting was held with OAS Secretary General Luis Almagro. PM Briceño took the opportunity to address the OAS on matters including climate financing, migration of illegal immigrants, the case before the ICJ, and closer cooperation to meet COP26 objectives. An agreement was also signed between NGO Pathlife Belize and the OAS to establish the frameworks to a mechanism to increase educational opportunities in Belize. Of note is that an agreement was also signed between NGO Pathlife Belize and the OAS to establish the framework of a mechanism to increase educational opportunities in Belize. We will have more on that story in tomorrow's newscast. And while in Washington, Prime Minister John Briceño also met with Belizean diasporans on Sunday afternoon. The event was lively and interactive with presentations and discussions on a wide variety of issues. The Prime Minister expressed his gratitude for the input and consistent contributions of our Belizeans abroad and invited them to get more involved in Plan Belize, which is transforming the country. The President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, is still on visit Belize. On the sidelines of this week's United Nations General Assembly in New York, President Kagame met with Prime Minister John Briceño. Both leaders instructed their respective ambassadors in New York to agree on a new date for his visit, which will be the first by any African head of state. The president expressed his disappointment at missing the visit originally scheduled for September 14th and 15th. He was scheduled to address members of the House of Representatives and the Senate at a joint special sitting, as well as students at the University of Belize. will sign agreements aimed at strengthening bilateral relations between the two countries. He will, when he makes it to be conferred with the Order of Belize, Belize's second highest national award. The invitation was first extended during the June 2022 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting held in Kigali, Rwanda by Prime Minister John Bresenio in recognition of his visionary leadership and complete transformation of Rwanda from a country devastated by genocide in 1994 to one of the fastest growing economies in Africa. Forecasters at the National Hurricane Center, NHC, are closely monitoring Hurricane Ian in the Caribbean. After becoming a tropical storm over the weekend, Ian intensified into a hurricane. As of this morning, Ian was located about 240 miles southeast of the western tip of Cuba. According to the Met Office, it is projected that Ian will continue moving to the north.
As of midday local time, Ian was set at near latitude 19.7 north, 83.0 west, moving to the north-northwest at 13 miles per hour, with maximum sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. This system is being forecasted quite accurately in terms of track. Even before it became a tropical cyclone, most of the models were indicating that it would recurve well to the east of us and head either towards Yucatan or Cuba. The current path is for it to go towards western Cuba and make landfall there, possibly as a major hurricane, and eventually make another landfall along the western coast of Florida. In terms of impacts on Belize, they will be minimal. One of the impacts we're feeling already is that our winds have shifted to the west to northwest due to the circulation around Ian. And because of that, your typical hot daytime temperatures that you would experience inland are moving closer to the coast. So people in Belize City and elsewhere along the coast are experiencing higher than normal temperatures because of that land breeze that we're having due to the circulation around Ian. Another impact is that your typical afternoon thunderstorms that normally develop inland due to heating will tend to move also to the coast and offshore areas late in the evening and nighttime. Currently on the radar, we're already seeing some showers developing, especially over the mountains, and those will gradually move towards coastal areas. We don't expect anything near tropical storm or hurricane force winds, but winds can become gusty in thunderstorms, as is normally the case. So those are some of the impacts that we can expect due to the system.
While wide flooding is not expected, the country can experience some heavy rainfall.
Based on the current forecast, it should make landfall on Cuba on Tuesday morning, and then move further into the Gulf and make another landfall on Florida sometime on Wednesday, maybe late Wednesday night. So that's the timeline in terms of where the system is going. Currently, there's another system out in the Atlantic, but it's not expected to come our way. So for us, in the near term, there is no threat from any tropical cyclone activity. However, important to note, we are in the hurricane season. We have a very busy month coming up, which is October, which is typically a busy month for us. So we need to stay alert and stay tuned. We have a timeline, we have a series of data here at the service going back to 1960 that indicates clearly that there's a trend in terms of our temperatures increasing over the years. So there is no, absolutely from our standpoint, there is no doubt that our temperatures are increasing on an average basis over the past several decades. And of course, there's also the impacts from that. We see events like more severe droughts, stronger tropical systems. We get those long periods of limited rainfall and your sudden downpours of excessive rainfall in a short period of time that disrupts people's life and affect agriculture and that type of thing. So there's the evidence out there. I mean, that's what I could show the persons. No, but skeptics will always be skeptics. Doesn't matter how much evidence we provide.
Currently, a hurricane warning is in effect for Grand Cayman, the Cuban provinces of Isla de Juventud, Pinar del Rio, and Artemisa. A tropical storm warning is in effect for the Cuban provinces of La Habana, Mayabeque, and Matanzas, Lower Florida Keys from a 7-mile bridge westward to Key West and the Dry Tortugas. Coming up next, for the rift within the United Democratic Party. Stay tuned.
Hi, welcome to De La Fuente's Pharmacy, 16 Main Street.
De La Fuente's Pharmacy is a family-owned pharmacy. We offer a friendly and dedicated staff that will motivate and educate you on healthy lifestyle choices. With over 50 years of experience, you can rest assured that you are in good hands.
We believe in going above and beyond for our customers, providing several services that cater to your family's needs.
When it comes to health and wellness, we believe in quality over quantity.
Some of the services we offer are free blood pressure checks, glucose testing, weight management, one-on-one patient counseling, home deliveries, and much more.
Here at De La Fuente's Pharmacy, we offer fast and efficient practices with friendly patient care.
At De La Fuente's Pharmacy, 16 Main Street, diligence, efficiency, and kindness are the cornerstones of our practice.
Visit us today and experience pharmacare like no other.
What is Amnesty 2022? An opportunity for undocumented immigrants living in Belize. Belize wants to help you to live freely and continue contributing to those communities you and your family now call home by offering a pathway to permanent residency. Why should you apply? In doing so, you remove barriers and reduce the difficulties faced living as an undocumented immigrant. Applying is easy. Go online to www.immigration.gov.bz for more information. Find out if you qualify, how to apply, what documents you need, and how to book your appointment. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
We are currently still in the hurricane season, and that means that there is no telling when the heavy rains will fall, causing major flooding. Over the past months, Orange Walk has seen its fair share of bad weather, dumping up to 16 inches of water and inundating low-lying areas. Streets have felt the wrath of Mother Nature, including those located in the lower Marcos Canal area. The unprecedented rains have uncovered the need for a better drainage system across our community, and the Town Council is already working towards that by replacing culverts and upgrading streets.
One of the streets that we are working on is San Jose Street, San Pablo, and this is the main Douglas Street. So what we are doing right now is to see if we can remove some of the old culverts that are underneath, that are buried already, that is not in use. And we're going to be working with the Ministry of Works to get some material and their equipment to see if we can facilitate all of these streets. So it's a huge plus for all the residents at this back area of the Union area, because we know they were asking for it. It's been quite a while and nobody has come to the back here and do some work. Some small work has been done, but it needs to be more work needs to be done so we can help everybody out.
How many streets are we talking about?
We are talking about 9 streets in this entire area, and that includes both sides. The Douglas Street parts the streets in half, so we'll be doing both sides, and eventually down the stretch, eventually the council will be paving some of these streets, just like this, something similar to what we did in San Francisco Street. After when we won, some of the contractors had some work to be done here, and they put some material that wasn't that equipped and not good. So what we do, we're removing that material and putting some better material, which we are getting from the Ministry of Work. So it's a collaboration with the Ministry of Work and the Town Council to make sure that we get the residents up and running to what they need, and that's fixing up the streets properly so you can traverse. As you can see, the mud at the back, it's very mucky, especially when it rains. So this was not working. We had to come here and remove this muck from off the street.
The plan is for the old culverts to be replaced by new and larger channels. The turmoil within opposition United Democratic Party continues to unravel following the rejection of former party leader Patrick Faber's request to run in the Colette constituency. The decision by the party's nomination committee came as a surprise to many, as Faber remains the most senior member of the UDP, having won his seat as a member of the House of Representatives as many as 5 times since he entered electoral politics almost 2 decades ago. In a letter dated September 28, Faber was informed that his application for a standard bearer for the Colette division had been denied. It cited 7 instances, the most recent being September 18th, when Faber took to his Facebook page to post what are being described as public attacks against the party. Faber had previously been removed from the Central Executive Committee following his refusal to take down several social media posts that were not favorable to the party. UDP Chairman Michael Perifeet says that while this latest development is tough for the party, it forms a part of the democratic process of the institution.
The UDP is going through its processes. The elephant in the room, of course, is a letter from the nominations committee sent to the Honorable Faber, telling him that at this time, the nomination committee does not accept his application to represent the party. That's where we are. But if you look at the letter carefully, the letter is clearly stating, or basically asking the Honorable Patrick Faber, I mean, do you want to be a part of the UDP? I mean, until you demonstrate that you unequivocally want to be a part of the UDP, you know, how can you run for an organization that you keep bashing and creating internal turmoil with? So I don't think that it's the end of the world. I think we have systems set up within the party where we're saying, look, the National Party Council has decreed that we are to stop with the social media attacks, especially on the party and its officials. The Honorable Tracy Panton made it very clear at the last NPC that NPC decisions have to be respected and followed. She immediately removed and put down her post, which was a good thing to do. But the Honorable Patrick Faber not only kept up his own ones, but he doubled down and put down more. I mean, what are we saying here? We are at a point where I think the nominations committee had to send a message. It is not neat and clean. It is very messy, but so is democracy. And so is the internal workings of political parties. When you're in this situation, we have to go through a process. And it is not, like I said, the end of the world or final matter. The nominations committee is saying, come on board, show us that you want to be a part of this organization, and we can work together. That's all it's saying.
Notwithstanding Faber's seniority within the UDP, Perifeet says no one is bigger than the party or above the National Party Council.
You could win your seat 1,000,000 times in a row. You're still not bigger than the organization you want to represent. It doesn't matter who it is within the UDP. No one person can ever and will never be bigger than the UDP. The National Party Council made a decision, and one particular individual, one prominent individual, has chosen to not respect the decision of the NPC. You know, people talk about pushing out the Honorable Patrick Faber, but nobody is asking this question, or nobody is putting this thought in place. If he were to stop what he is doing, or if he had stopped what he is doing, if he had respected the decision of the NPC, we wouldn't be having this conversation. All he needs to do is to respect the decision of the NPC. And so we can move forward to putting our energies towards the real enemy, which is the PUP.
The UDP's decision to deny Faber's application, however, has undoubtedly caused a bigger rift within an already broken opposition. This situation, though, has an easy fix, and the ball currently lies in Faber's court, says Perfeet.
As an organization, we would prefer to have a person who doesn't stand as good a chance as he's done, but that person has sworn an allegiance for the betterment of the UDP overall, than to have a person who would deliver the seat and not really respect the wishes of the National Party Council. We are saying that if a person is out of an organization because they refuse to respect the decisions of that organization, a person disrespects the decisions of an organization and disrespects that organization, that person is no longer part of that organization. That person is out, to use his word. And if you say, if he's out, then I'm out, well, then be out.
That's it for
be
me.
Out. The UDP has a door that goes in and out. We would want as many people to come in. But if you step into the door of the UDP, you will respect the UDP.
Just before they were set to march through the main streets of Orange Walk Town, the children's parade was cancelled due to inclement weather. This dampened the spirits of many students as they were looking forward to the in-person celebration after 2 years of COVID-19. While the students were not able to showcase their presentations on September 19th, they will get an opportunity to do so on Friday, September 30th, as they take part in the Mayor's Drum Strong competition.
What we decided with the Ministry of Education, we decided to come to an agreement, had some meetings together and decided, you know, let's do something for these schools. Let's bring them together and have a little competition. And so we came up with this one called the Mayor's Drum.
Categories for the Mayor's Drum Strong competition include banner competition, high school and junior college band competition, primary schools band competition, and dance competition. Ministers of Health and other high-level representatives from countries including Belize are meeting this week in Washington, D.C. Representing Belize's Ministry of Health and Wellness are Minister Kevin Bernard, CEO Dr. Julio Sabido, and Dr. Melissa Diaz, Director of Public Health and Wellness. They are attending the Pan American Health Organization's PAHO 30th Pan American Sanitary Conference from September 26th to the 30th, 2022. The Pan American Sanitary Conference is the organization's highest decision-making body. They convene every 5 years to determine general policies of the organization to improve the health and well-being of the population in the region. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Tuesday, September 27th here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.